Thank you guys for watching the Animal One Guys YouTube channel. If you like my content, leave a comment down below. Ask me questions, let me know what you liked about it. And hey, click on the little like button. But please, if you want, go ahead and subscribe, because it helps my channel out. That way you can stay up to date with all my videos. And if you want, click on the bell icon to get notified. Right? Right? Huh? 1 out of 2. Not bad.
What are we doing here, guys, early in the morning? We're about to document this vet visit. I have to bring Artemis to the vet. I don't think she's doing well, so I'm just getting everything ready. I think maybe she has eggs, maybe she has follicles, I don't know. She hasn't been eating as much, and with a Savannah monitor, normally that's a sign. Now, I did do an ultrasound on her to attempt to see if I could see eggs or follicles. Sometimes it can be harder on fatter lizards with an ultrasound to see if they're higher up. Couldn't see it. Couldn't see anything. But she kind of really pushes when she poops, and very little comes out, although she does poop and pass urate. She cut back on the eating, and like I said, with the Savannah monitor, they're garbage pits. So if they're not going crazy when you put food in front of them, something's probably going on internally. So I'm going to take you on the steps of what this means. So first, we get that rice bag in the microwave. It's just rice in an IV pouch, because that's what's going to go in the container she's going to be in. Now I'm in the basement where I have all my reptile transferring supplies and different totes, and everything's all ready just in case there's ever a fire or an emergency. But so I have to pick out for her something for a vet ride. So you don't want to go too large. I have large ones, obviously, for smog and stuff like that. But if you go too big, they'll be too stressed. This is a perfect size where she'll still be comfortable and nice and warm. Now, you don't have to worry about that rice becoming too hot, because it's going to be wrapped and put in the side and really just keep this warm for the ride. So I like to put a pillow down. I got a lot of reptile pillows that are made specifically for this that can cover. So I put a pillow down. Then I'm going to get the rice, wrap it, put it on the side. I'll show you how it gets set up. Alright, so this is a old beach towel. It's ripped. It's perfect for the reptiles. You want this in case they pee or poop. You saw I had some paper towel at the bottom. Even after surgery, sometimes if they have it, there's leakage. And here's the rice. It's nice, it's warm, it's wrapped up, but it's actually really hot, but we won't see it, so stay warm for a while. And then I have another towel as her blanket, and then the lid will go on top. So now I'm going to go get her and get her in there. Now, it's early morning. Her lights haven't come on, so I'm going to try to film this, but it's going to be in low light. It'll be just like this, just so it's not too bright with her. I'll get her in. You'll see her when she's in here. I'll put the towel on her. I'll put the lid on her. Then I'll be finished getting ready. 5 minutes out the door. The car's heating up, etc. I have a heated seat. It goes on. Nice drive for over an hour to the vet. Okay, here she is. So I'm just going to, you can see how wide she is. And it's firm, but she has been going to the bathroom, so I don't know. I like to, if you can do this early in the morning, she's still groggy. Her lights don't come on for another 15 minutes. And I like to put them in here, make sure, wait for a couple minutes before I start ruffling it all around. Let them get calm and then move. You want to keep it stress-free. So the next stop, hopefully you guys will see me at the vet. There we go. The package is all ready to go. Hopefully I'll see you guys in about an hour and a half. Alright, we've made it to the vet. Could it be farther away? No. But we do what we gotta do. Let's see how she's doing. So I try not to open when we're on the road. I just don't want to stress her out. Oh, there she is. She's doing good. Alright. I'm going to go carry her in the vet. We're going to check in, and maybe we'll do, it depends on how quickly we move, but maybe we'll do a brief check-in in the waiting room before the vet comes in. Okay, we're in the room. We're waiting for the vet tech, probably to come check us in. You know, I filled out the form. They'll probably weigh her and ask all the same questions that they always do: lighting, heating, etc. But yeah, closer and closer to see if we can, if anything's going wrong and if we can figure it out. There's our great view. Giant propane tank because we're in the middle of nowhere. Okay, we did the whole check-in. There's her weight. Don't look, she's a weight lady. Of course, they're always impressed. Any vet I ever have to bring a reptile to, they're always impressed that my reptiles are so tame and so friendly. There's her with her little tongue sticking out a little bit. But, so the vet tech took all the notes. Now what normally happens is a vet will come in and ask me all the exact same questions that the vet tech did. And the vet tech documented them, but hopefully we'll go get her x-rayed, maybe blood work. They do their own fecals and blood work here, so you get the results right away. They don't send it out to a lab. They just boom, boom, do them. And obviously the x-rays are digital, so they get them right away. But most places are on digital x-rays now anyways. All right, so we'll see what the next update holds. Guys, we're back. Oh, almost 1 o'clock. We've been gone all day. Look at this nice little heart that they did for Artemis. So I'm going to put her back. I just want to show you her when she comes back. Yes, she is in here. We reheated up the IV bag full of rice while we were there. And oh, yep, there she is. She was asleep. Now she's awake. She's probably mad at me. The vet loved her, of course. She's nice and warm. This is real nice and warm. We're going to put her back. Then we're going to talk about what we have to do, what we found, what's wrong with her, and we're going to go from there. All right, and so here is the x-ray, and this is really important, but we'll just brief over some basic things, and then we're going to look at the problemed area. But let's remember the symptoms. She's really just acting uncomfortable. That's how I would say what we're looking at. Struggling to poop, acting uncomfortable, not eating. Those things are probably happening because of the uncomfortableness. Go to palpate her. She feels very firm in her lower abdominal region. Okay, so this region down here, which is what we'll talk about in a second, and that's what we're going to focus. So what's the first thought always? Eggs. Egg binding, follicles, follicular stasis, cysts, something going on with the reproductive tract is always the first thing you want to look at or you think of, right? So when we look over this x-ray here, the head is at the top and obviously right in the base of the tail. So, you know, there's a couple things that we noticed. Bone structure, really good. People are going to be like, what's this right here? That's food. It's in the stomach. That's right where the stomach is. Everything looks great, fine. But we're not seeing eggs, but we're not seeing a lot of the intestinal tract either because of this. This is where the troubled area would be. And we are seeing something right now. And so if you guys want to try to guess and wonder what this is that I've encircled, that is the problem. I have circled the problem, and what I have circled, that entire area is the problem. And I'll go into a zoomed up x-ray view and we'll talk about this area. But that is the problem. Now keep in mind we are seeing the problem. We are visually seeing it. The x-ray has caught the problem. But what we should be seeing are the intestinal tract, if there's waste in the intestinal tract, if there's eggs, if there's follicles. Now, they took side x-rays, so we could see that area, and that area is all clear. No eggs, no follicles, no cysts, reproductive tract, clear, clean, fine. All right, good. So let's spam down to the zoomed in one. Here we go. And so now the area, right, this area right here, this is the problem. We are looking at the problem. What is this? What are we seeing? What is this slightly light gray with little patches of darker grayish in there? What is that? That is the problem. Are we ready for the answer? Why is she so wide, right? She's wide when she should be getting... You know, this wideness shouldn't be here all the time because we're not seeing fat. There's just a healthy, normal amount of fat. We're not seeing a full stomach, right? There's barely anything in there. She's not eating.
but she's so wide. So you would think, oh, she's full of poop. Well, not exactly. But you wouldn't be wrong, because what's obstructing the view of everything down here? This area here, this is all gas. That's what the X-ray is picking up. This lighter gray, this is gas that is obstructing our field of view. Like I said, the side X-ray, so shows that there's no follicles, no eggs, but this is gas. She's bloated. She's full of gas. Why? It's hard to tell. Could she be constipated? That's a possibility. Big monitor lizards like this, constipation's pretty rare, because especially one that soaks, especially one that drinks, and she does drink. She's got a big water tub. You've seen the enclosure. She can fully submerge, and I've also been putting her in the bathtub to try to maybe alleviate and help her poop. But she's pooping little bits, but she strains to push out so much. So she's gassy. She's super gassy. The X-ray is picking up the gas. Let's go to markup. All of this right here, with my crude outlining, that's all gas. That's why our view is getting obstructed. We can't really see through the gas very well. And that's why she's wide. That's why when you go to squeeze her, she feels very round and full and firm. And there's a potential there could be some stool that's stuck in there as well, although not large amounts, but it's gas. So we need to get her ungassed. This is maybe the best of the bad scenarios. There's something wrong, but it's not eggs. It doesn't require surgery. It possibly could require an enema, possibly could require a finger up the butt, but there's other things that we'll try before we get to that. But yes, just gas. The best of the worst, let's say. Okay, good. All right, we looked at the X-ray. Now here's the patient. And I'm doing this on the couch. I just want her to feel comfortable and everything like that. And you can see she's derpy. But the big thing that we want to look at is like this. She's quite wide. All right? She's not in pain. She still moves around, but her eating is less. Can you come here? So, again, you palpate. We didn't feel anything. This area is full of gas. And here is the fear when we were doing this is the area, like I said, that holds eggs. Right? Here and here. These are where the eggs are going to be made. And you can get 20 plus eggs, So gas is tricky. Because typically, if you move around, it relieves gas. They put her on a vibrating mat that typically relieves gas. Enemas typically relieve gas. Typically. But she's got a lot of gas. So she's very bloated. And I really don't... if I have to, she's smaller, though. Don't really want to do that. Although I've gotten quite well. Because, again, when you go in here... Okay, when you go in the cloaca, you come to this junction here, and then you have multiple tunnels. The reproductive tracts are on the side, the urinary, and then the GI tract is typically over here. And that's the tunnel that you have to find to go in. And if you go in through that valve and you pull everything open, if you did it all correctly, you've released the floodgates. But if there is a blockage, if there's poop, if there's anything in there hard, you don't want to do that right now. The first thing we're going to want to do is treat that, and this is the last resort. So let's go over to what the vet has brought and what her routine is going to be to get better. What's in this bag? What do we have to do? Well, the only solutions. We have our favorite carnivore care. They love getting this and, their instructions. And I'll tell you, there was a little bit of an irking here. But even with the lactulose, so this is the diarrhea medicine, right? So we're going to hope we can just force her to have diarrhea, which will in turn also pass the gas out. There's some other ways to just get the gas out. Just a little Vaseline and yeah. But I just would have wished, because they want 0.8 mLs. Look at this. This is probably a 3 ml syringe. Why not a 1 ml syringe? Much smaller. Look at that. 1 ml syringe can get deeper down the throat so she won't spit it out, and then there it goes. So there's that. We got enough for that. And then the carnivore care, they want it to be, you know, watery. 1 dry to 2 parts warm water. This is also, again, you could use warm electrolyte solution. 5 mLs every 12 hours. 10 ml giant syringe, which doesn't get very deep. Probably not going to use that. We'll use something like one of these. Now, this is a J-hook syringe, which is kind of nice on an angle, so that way... but I cut it, and I'll tell you why. But that way you could go in kind of like this, but the syringe is bent at the end. That way you could get it in deeper without having to have this straight. But when you cut this, it is thinner, but it has the longer shaft. Here's a normal long shaft, but it's thicker. We'll probably use something like this, because this can get in deeper. This does nothing right here. You're not going to get that in her mouth, which means this is going to go in her mouth, and her mouth's going to open all the way. She's going to hate that. Where, look at this. Look how much of this syringe will get in there compared to the other one. I mean, this syringe would have to get up to here to be at the same depth. And this just a little bit different, but it's thinner at the tip. This is more I use for bearded dragons that need more, because you don't want to do this 5 times. Although, you can do 3 or 4 of these and just have them go next to each other. If it's a larger lizard, go down the same distance and then disperse. But so yeah, there's our treatment. Why don't we get to doing it? That's what we've been dreading. Alright, here we are at my kitchen sink. And I'm just going to warn you guys right now. Doing this to a monitor lizard, a big lizard that doesn't want this to happen. It's going to look worse than it is. But think of just a little kid having a tantrum, and we have to be strong. She's escaping onto my kitchen counter. So let's make sure that you guys will be able to see. But essentially, I'm just going to hold her. And if you guys don't see, sorry, I mean, I got to do the less stress on her as possible. This is going to have to go in the very tip of her mouth, get in deep, and then go in. But yeah, let's just get her into a good spot. All right, tripod's ready. We're going to be good. Again, guys, this is a big lizard. This is a stubborn lizard who doesn't, you know, she doesn't like this, and she's going to make a big fuss. Now, the fear is she'll throw it up or spit it up. So I'm going to want to make sure I keep her vertical and keep the syringe in there and just make sure she's swallowing. That's the key. And she's done this before and she doesn't like this. Let's see how we do in terms of getting it on camera. All right, here we go. I think we'll be on cam. I don't know. Just going to kind of get her in my arm. Now, I would recommend you run the sink. I ran it so the water is nice and warm. So if I have to wash her off, I'm ready. Here we go. Syringe was almost in, and then she took it out. All right, we're going in. And remember, this is for her own good. It's not hurting her, but it's not making her happy. Oh, yeah, she's already getting pissed. Oh, boy. Here we go. Got to come into the... So hook the lip. Off camera, but we'll do the best we can. And in. And in. And in. And it's in. Now, the syringe is depressed. It's all right here. We need... And she's biting this syringe. We need to wait. And sometimes I've waited here with lizards, guys, for 10, 15 minutes. You can stimulate the throat to try to induce swallowing. You do not want to take the syringe out yet, because she will spit up. You want to leave the syringe in. Notice how I'm holding her head here. You want to leave the syringe in until it's swallowed, not in the throat, not in the gullet. We need it to get into the stomach. So we'll feel, and you'll feel for that. You'll feel the movement here. So she's breathing. She's fine. She's taking deep breaths. I feel the lungs moving here. She's not swallowed yet. The liquid is down here. She's breathing from her trachea up here. So sometimes people will say, oh, she took a breath. That means she swallowed. Nope. Nope, nope. Unfortunately, that's not what it means, because she breathes from up here. She's holding the valve to her stomach is closed, so that's all in her lower throat. She breathes from the bottom of her mouth. And don't worry, I used to fall for that all the time. If I were to put her down right now, it simply would just leak out because it's still in there. So again, just keep stimulating, stroke the throat to cause a swallowing reflex. But we're going to just sit here together, I guess. How long is this video going to be? Now, see how her mouth is open like this? See if I can show you. Her mouth, almost like she's smoking a cigar. You can see inside. This is where, if I had to feed her more food, if I had another 1 ml syringe, I would just go right next to this one and give her food. And this would kind of keep her mouth open. If this was a 3 milliliter syringe and it was in this position, I would then be going in with a 1 milliliter syringe and just giving her what she needs. But yeah, that's all we do here. She's here. She's like the penguin smoking her little pipe here. Not Danny DeVito, the actual animated series, The Good Penguin. On guard. And she still hasn't swallowed. Well, I'm going to stop the video and then I'll come back when she swallows. 5 minutes after I paused this video, she literally just did a whoop, and this went down. So now what do? Now we need to negotiate the removal of this. See what happens when I pull on this? I could probably hang her by this. I wonder if I spin around to the other side? Ah, yeah, there she is. Hi, can I have that back? You're shedding. You're shedding. Can I have the cigar back? Nice deep breaths. Let me have this back, please. Can I have this back, please? Now, the removal of this, we have to be careful, because this could make her gag. It could also, removing this and getting her too mad, could cause her to throw up. So although the lactulose is in her stomach now, this could cause her to throw up. So I'm just going to, normally I just do a slow rotation and we get this out, but I may put some warm water to just give her a little bit of incentive to, this is why we prepped the sink. And I've got another syringe. Where's hers, Artemis? Right, here we go, another 1 ml syringe, and we'll just give her a little bit of water. Now we have to be careful when we give this, because we don't want her to go down the trachea, and we also don't want to stimulate her throwing up. So just do some drops. Try to see what she feels about that. Oh yeah, she's relaxed a little bit. Come here. Really nice. Come on. Put some over there. Now that we got a little bit of water in there. A little bit of we don't. So if your monitor, oh, she clamped down a little bit. If your monitor lizard has lost teeth, they do grow back. But if she's lost teeth, or that would be the area where you'd want to put this thing, because then you can really come out. There's a potential, don't panic, that they lose a tooth. They lose teeth all the time. They lose teeth on their chew toys, things like that. Their individual teeth, they do grow back. Okay. We're going little by little here. The 0.7 is out. Here comes the 0.6. It's all about patience. There's 0.5. There's 0.4. Now you're going to not see this on camera, but when I do take it out, I'm going to hold her completely vertical. There's 0.3. There's 0.2, because just in case, maybe she only swallowed a little bit. I don't want her spitting it up. All right, I see the plunger. Also, this would not be bad to remove this plunger and use it like a feeding tube and drip food in. So she's going to come straight up vertical. 0.1. And that's out. A little gooey. All right. There she is. Excellent. Let's go put her back. There she goes into her hide. She's just going to get comfortable and lay down. Now you got to know a couple things. You're giving a laxative here. Unlike when you give a laxative to your human, your lizard doesn't quite understand that. There she is. So she doesn't know that you're getting ready to make her crap her brains out. So there's going to be distressed behavior that is going to occur, which is normal. You could see her waking up in the middle of the night. You could see her stressed, acting a little bit stressed, because her intestines are going to start moving and the purge is going to come. And she could poop herself there. She could poop herself here. She could get it. She could get to the water. It just depends. So you need to not fear that behavior. You need to understand that behavior's coming. Like a human that takes it, we know that behavior's coming. She doesn't know. So she's been given that. That's going to lube up the stool. And the intestines are going to say, get this the heck out of here. So just know that that behavior can occur. Or not can, will occur. And especially if there's a buildup and this takes 2, 3, 4 treatments of this before it purges, you're going to purge quite a bit. But hopefully this once a day. And then tomorrow, I didn't want to give her food today because of the stress of going to the vet and then this. So tomorrow I'll start once in the morning, give her the first food. Middle of the day, give her the laxative. End of the day, give her the second food routine. Thanks for taking care, everybody. All right. Thank you guys for supporting my reptile rescue family.